All right, so I'm Susanne Wood. I'm the Managing Director for Coldwell Banker and Telluride. And I'm today joined by actually 3 co-hosts, of which 2 will be joining us virtually. So Adam Greenberg and Cole Helberg, and then we also worked with Delphine from Montrose. And we have been part of the social squad now for probably almost 4 weeks. And we're here today to talk to you about virtual open houses and how to do those. And really talking about lead generation and how you can add more leads to your inbox. That's really the #1 objective. So in the chat box, you will find an agenda of, or what we call a guide, that you can take with you after our little performance to help you kind of establish those guidelines for you. So I'm gonna go through some steps, and then we're gonna have Adam and Cole actually show you what a virtual open house looks like and talk a little bit about executing that for yourselves. It's really, in my mindset, the future of where we're going with real estate. That means that, yeah, we'll be showing some printed photographs, but the expansion that you can get from using virtual tours through Facebook, through Instagram, through Zoom is really the wave of the future, and something that you should take to heart and learn to add to every listing that you have, or every buyer that potentially is looking at a property that you want to share with them. So it should become part of your regular, everyday business strategy that you feel comfortable with these tools. We have supplied you at the bottom of our agenda with 4 email addresses for all 4 of us, where you can gladly connect with us and ask personal questions or get a personal walkthrough if you feel like it's just something that you're not accustomed to doing. So the first part of our virtual open house is that you're going to need to get organized. It's super important that you set a date and time for your event. Figuring out when you want to do it. You're going to create a script. You want to basically sit down and say, okay, I've got a house that I'm listing and I want to show it off to people. So what is my open house going to look like? How am I going to walk through the house? How am I going to actually flow through the house from the beginning to the end? It should take you anywhere from 5 to 9 or 10 minutes, depending on your choice of information and also maybe the size of your house. But you definitely don't want to break the 15-minute barrier. There are some complications with that as far as collecting information and being able to push it out to things like Instagram Live. So you do want to hold yourself into that 5 to 9 minute period. You may use live video, which we'll show and demonstrate today. You can also take your Matterports that you already have existing and put them into the actual live experience. Or if you feel so inclined, you can take your flat, what I call now flat photographs, and also put them into a Zoom live experience. So really, there's no reason why you can't start making this happen if you feel more comfortable with one or the other. We've been asked a lot, what's the best time of the day to be able to do this? We would tell you that through our practices and trials and errors, that doing this process before 9 o'clock, feeding it out to your community before 9 o'clock in the morning is good. And then also anytime between 6 and 8 p.m. at night. Those seems to be some of the periods that we've found to be the most engaging. Again, your community may be different, so you kind of need to evaluate that and come up with where you find your customer being engaged with you on Facebook the most. That's when you want to have these live experiences show up on your feed. So very important. We also would suggest that when you're new at this, it's always good to have a partner out there when you're doing your live arrangement. That means another realtor, maybe in your office, someone who can support you if you support them, who can actually track the reactions that you're getting on your screens. Some agents feel comfortable that you can just use your phone and you can ad-lib and talk to your clients with the phone in hand. But if that is something that you're uncomfortable with, we suggest that you have another agent who's involved with you so there can be some engagement during the process of the virtual open house. So that's an important part. You're going to probably wonder, what platform should I choose? And we have figured out that when you combine Zoom with the Facebook platform, you have a beautiful engagement that comes from that. And that is that when you use your Zoom link and you establish a Zoom meeting for that with registration, you would click the registration button. You are able to add that to your actual Facebook Live post. and it creates automatic engagement. That means that the people that come to your open house are going to need to sign in. And we feel like that's the biggest win for lead generation for you for future business. It will require you to do some thorough follow-up, but what a cool way to make that happen. We've had some really great results for both Adam and Cole that have done it quite often. And you've been able to create a much larger IQ box full of leads. So very, very important to make that happen. We do require that you use a thing called Zoom Pro. So it's called Zoom Pro Plus Webinar. It's about $45 a month. I think it's a great investment in the future of your own business. Well worth the money for the outcome if you use it consistently. And that'll allow you to develop what's called a Zoom business account. And that benefit allows you to create that registration and also results that you can actually see later on the screen that you can actually use as tools to connect with future lead generated customers. So there is a slight investment, but we find it to be super beneficial when you do it that way. We also suggest that not only do you do your Zoom virtual house in Facebook, but once you've established that, you're going to be able to have it saved. And when you can save that experience, the biggest win you're going to get is by reposting that experience on all the rest of your platforms. So you'll be able to save it in LinkedIn, you'll be able to save it in Instagram, you'll be able to repost it next week, a week later on the same page, you'll be able to put it on the Coldwell Banker site, you'll be able to push it out to lots of people so that you can capture, again, all of that information for your business to connect with future clients down the road. So it's a great tool for that. Spreading the word through your virtual open house is probably one of the most important things that you will do. If you really need to spend about a week and a half just pushing out the fact that you're going to have this event. Very, very important that you get a lot of, I would say, tactile people going, wow, what is this person doing? This Zoom call's coming up, it's next week. It's hard to do it if you put it into the system today for tomorrow. You want to get some traction on that and some interest on your live posts beforehand. So we do ask or suggest that you give yourself some lead time where you can actually send it out and keep pushing it out to your friends. Hopefully your friends will push out the experience, but the more that you do that, the larger your engagement will be for your event. So an important part of strategizing how you're going to make this event be more than just an event that shows up there. We have many platforms that Coldwell Banker Distinctive Properties for you to be able to share that information. I've listed those actually for you on my sheet where you can get engagement with other people and other clients across the board. So very, very important part of it. We would also suggest that you take it out and you can actually save the actual link it up, and you can send it out through your email box, through IQ. You can send it out through your phone and through text messaging. All of those are ways to engage more customers to do your actual things. So when you start the watch party, we encourage you the day that you make the party or you have this live post feed, that you start to engage as many people as you can directly through the process, hence why we ask you to get another agent involved, so that as you're feeding it out, the event's happening, you're picking up more pages and more places for that information to go. So critically important to making it a three-dimensional experience. Once you start your event, it's important that you introduce yourself, where you're from, your company, your whatever it is that you feel is important to you to make you stand out in the world of real estate, and really thank your viewers for joining them. Make sure to copy them in the chat box. We found that if you put the Matterport or your actual website into the chat box, it'll allow the clients to leave the Facebook place and go check out the rest of your listings and the listing or the listing that you have specifically for this property. So offer them another opportunity to connect with you by giving them your actual website. The connection there is really beneficial for your business. We also would say that our experience has shown that it's important to stand out in front of the house beforehand when you create your video. Take your tour through your home, and then also close with the final picture being that of the home on the outside, where you can actually then talk a little bit about the price and all the things that go with that. So hugely beneficial in making that happen. And the follow-up, we estimate that you'll probably spend about 2 or 3 hours right after the event happens, connecting. It's really important for you to engage the customer that was at your actual event. That means write them back comments, ask them how they are, what did they like about the house. Make sure that you respond to each of their personalized conversations. Very, very important part is the messaging that comes after the event in doing that. The other thing is that because you're on Facebook, you're going to be able to connect with those clients. So actually picking up all of those Facebook clients and adding them to your friends list will allow them to continue to be engaged with you far into the future. So you're not only doing lead generation with your registration, you're doing lead generation through the Facebook process and bringing more people to your actual page and engaging them in the process when you do that. There on the Facebook page, you'll notice there's an Insight tab if you open it up when you put your actual Zoom thing together. And the Inside tab allows you as a business owner of your business page at Facebook to actually see the insight. That means how many people showed up, what was the engagement like, when did they show up? And that button becomes super important when you want to go back and look at analytics and really understand, wow, I had 150 people, or I had 3,000 people. It depends on really how much you push it out. Where did they come from? What are they talking to me about? And where will they be? And what would they be for being potential clients for you? The other thing is that all your registrants that you receive through the Zoom registration should, of course, all go into IQ Office and become clients that you're going to actually work with going forward. And you're going to be continuing to engage them with all the materials that you put into your IQ Office. So it's going to take some time to download those names and those email addresses, but you will have email addresses and names attached and locations to enhance your connectability with those clients as well. And then if you really feel so inclined, another way to boost your lead generation through this process is to boost your post. And you can do that on your Facebook business page, which again will engage people that are further away. They're maybe not right in your territory or where you're in your circle of friends, but they may be in a market that you're trying to enhance and bring to the table. So we find it to be very beneficial to do a boost of your actual live feed because you are saving it and you can resend it. And that's probably the biggest and best piece about this is you may be having a live presentation and it's getting all the people hyped up about that live presentation, but you're able to save it and you're able to refeed it into your system multiple times after the fact. And that is really the piece that creates continued engagement. So I would say the results that you get from those are pretty phenomenal and very, very quick, as long as you're making the commitment to be involved with those clients in the Facebook arena after your live performance is over. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to let Adam and Cole walk us through a little bit what it looks like on your screen. I'm going to let them screen share and give you an experience of how to put this thing together. And again, if you have questions, all four of us are more than willing to walk you through the process. We've been playing with this for quite a while and hope that this becomes an extension of your business. It is, I would say, social online connection is one of the 4 basic keys of what you do to drive business, and it's becoming more and more the norm in making that connection and building business for your own business going forward. So Adam, are you set to roll?
I am. Thank you, Suzanne. Top of the afternoon, everybody. I know a lot of people aren't using their video right now, but if you're able to watch your screen or go back later to watch this, it will be very helpful. I'm going to walk you now through the step-by-step processes in order to set up for your live event from Zoom to Facebook. Now, there are other platforms other than Zoom. Today, we're only going to focus on Zoom, and then in the future, excuse me, Delphine is going to do one of these also on another platform that we all use called StreamYard. But today, since most people are pretty aware of how to use Zoom, that's what we're going to focus on. So the first thing you're going to have to do that you heard Susanne talk about was, if you don't already have a pro account on Zoom, you're going to have to set that up. So once you do that, I'm going to share my screen now. Okay, so you can see here, we're into the Zoom platform. You sign up by going to, when you enter into Zoom, you're into this page. You want to go down to account management down here, and then hit the billing button. And this is going to take you to where all the upgrade plans are and all the available add-ons. All right, and as you can see here, right at the top is webinar, and that's the one you're going to have to do first. And as you can see, that is $40 a month. Again, like Susanne said, worth every penny. You have to do the webinar add-on in order to be able to use the Zoom registration pages. Now, the cool thing is the registration page works on both a meeting and a webinar. And if you're a little confused on what the difference is, in a nutshell, a meeting basically allows, just like we're doing now, everybody is on, everybody can talk to each other, you can share screens. The host does have the option to allow people to talk or share screens, but for the most part, we just leave it on. A webinar is like the ones we've watched with Tom Ferry and some of the other guests we've had, where we're just participants, and all we can do is ask questions through the Q&A in the chat box, and then only the actual people that are within the, I forget what they call them in the webinar, but you're either a participant or you're an actual person involved in the webinar, and you can share your screens there. So, all right, so now you're in here, you've clicked on your, you've added your $40 webinar to it. As you can see here, it'll show up here. And I'll just show you what that looks like. You click on it, it's going to take you to a page where you fill out what it is you're adding on. Since I already have the 40, it's bumping me up to the next one. But you just go in through, you fill out your credit card information and hit save or continue, which I'm going to cancel because I've already got it. All right, so that's the first step you have to do in order to registration. So before you go and start doing your Facebook Live, scheduling the post for that, first you need to set up your Zoom plan so that you can put that link into your post on Facebook. So I'm going to go to my meetings, and let's say we're going to do this from scratch. I already have one ready to go, but you're going to hit schedule a new meeting. You're going to call it whatever you're going to call it, open house. I'm a terrible typist. You can put your description in or not, you know, whatever that's going to be. It can be usually something like what you put in on your listing description. You're going to set your time. Your duration doesn't matter as much. It's more of an estimation, but you can go anywhere from an hour or more. Make sure that you have your time zone correct. If it's not automatically set up to your time zone, you just click this down button here and go and find where you're at. If you want to set this up, like sometimes I do, I'll do an open house every Sunday at 11 a.m. You can click this reoccurring meeting and it'll automatically do it, and you can set it to how many occurrences you want. Up to 50 is the limit right now, on at least on the $40 add-on. So here's the registration tab. This is the most important, right? So you tap that required, and you're good to go, and I'll get into that in a second. Your meeting ID, I usually use my generate automatically and don't give out my personal ID meeting. I only do that for people that I can 100% know who I'm having this conversation with. Your meeting password, Zoom recommends that you always use it. It's a safety feature. I'm sure many of you have heard about the Zoom bombings going on, where someone comes in and they grab a hold of the screen and then they post all this crazy stuff. This way, it's another layer of protection for you, so that way they have the Zoom meeting password, and that's the only way they can get on, so they can't bomb you. It's up to you if when you start your meeting, me being the host is the example here, if my video is on, if the participant's video on, and the host has control of this as well as the participant, but the host can cut someone off if they want. Your audio, I recommend you hit both here, like it's automatically set up to do, so that if someone's just calling in on a telephone number, they can do that as well. Your meeting options, you've all seen this before when waiting to jump on the calls. Maybe you can get in before the host is there. You can enable that waiting room. You've seen that before where it pops up and says waiting for the host to start the meeting. Only authenticated users can join. That means someone who already has a Zoom account. So if this is an open house and you're generally putting this out to the public, many people don't have the Zoom account, so you don't check that box. It'll still allow them to get on, but they don't need to be a Zoom member in order to do it. And it's up to you whether you want to record the meeting automatically or not. When you click on that, it gives you two choices. You can either do it on your computer or in the cloud, all right? So we've done that, we've set that all up, we hit save, right? Bam. So now we're ready to go and start this meeting, which let's pretend right now it says it's gonna start at 1, but let's say it was starting now. Before you do that, you wanna scroll down to the bottom here. You see this section with registration, email, branding, and live streaming? These are settings. You wanna go into your registration settings, hit the edit button, and you can set it to automatically approve someone when they register. You can manually approve it if you want to be a little more controlling. This notification sends me, the host, an email when someone does register. I like to click on that because then I have a backup of all the registrants besides just in Zoom. It'll also send me an email so I can look in my emails as well for that. Other options are you can close your registration after the event date so no one can log on once it's done. And then also you can show your social share buttons on the registration page when you go to it. You know, it'll just be the icon of Facebook. Now here's the cool thing. I think at this point, we've probably all done a registration by now, signing up for like the Tom Ferry or any other ones. You have a choice. You can do this left side, which is optional, or this side, which is required. For me, I don't like to pester my participants too much. It automatically makes them do their first name, last name, and their email address, which is great. But I also like to add just for my own personal preference so I know where they are. So I'll click the state and province they're in, and I'll also get their phone number if I can. Granted, they can put in a bum phone number, but most of the time, if people are serious and wanting to jump on, they won't. So you get those information on the page. And then you also have the option, if you want, to ask your own questions. Which I haven't really done yet, but it's depending on what it is, you can do that, all right? So now we've done that. Now let's go back, scroll back up here. Again, we are on the meeting page. Right here, registration link, see this? This is what you wanna copy and paste into all your Facebook posts, your Instagram posts, any social media posts. This is the link that will take them to the registration page. Once they click that, as you know, once you fill out that registration page, they get an email from Zoom saying they've been registered. Thank you for registering, and here is the link to the meeting. All right, so now we've done all that. You're set up. You've done all of those things that Suzanne talked about as far as setting up your ahead of time posts and events on Facebook, Instagram, whatever that is. And you're ready to go live now. The time has come. It's time to do the meeting. Make sure, as you can see on the top of my page, I already have my Matterport ready to go, set up. I have a link to my website also with some property because I might want to shift over there, and I'll get into that a little bit more. Anyway, so let's get back to there. So now it's time to start the meeting, right? I'm going to, because I can't start another meeting while in a meeting, I pre-recorded what it would be like. So I'm going to play that video for you guys now. Can everybody see this? I hope so. So it is time to go to our meeting, right? So you click into Zoom and you hit start this meeting. So this is probably normal for everybody. They've seen this before. I'm in my meeting. Haven't gone live to Facebook yet, right? So now what I like to do is go to share my screen and get ready for what I'm going to be doing right off the bat for when people come in. So I'm going to go to my Matterport. Sorry guys, real quick, something I didn't show you. When you go to share your screen and you're playing a video, down here, there's a share computer sound. Make sure you have that clicked if you're going to be playing a video so that people can hear it. Apologize for that. All right, let's get back into the video. I have it ready to go. So right when I start my live feed to Facebook, we're there. Now you just come up here to your More button, okay? I'm already sharing my screen. You don't have to do this. You can do it after too. But here's your different choices. We're going to go to live on Facebook. Of course, you can go to live on YouTube, any other third party, or Workplace by Facebook if you know how to use that. But we're going to go live to Facebook. All right, so now Facebook pops up and gives you the option of where you want to put this. I'm going to share it in a group because it's private and nobody will see this practice run. Okay. For some reason, there we go. All right, so now we're going to be hooking into Facebook. We're not live yet on Facebook again. All right, so now we're into their live producer page. I'm going to add a title. It's going to say, join me for this virtual open house at 1004 Floyd Way. Sorry, I'm not a fast typist. Okay, now once we hit this go live button, we're going to be live, right? So I will click that button and then immediately you go live to Facebook. So I have to go back now to my Matterport. I forgot about that, so I apologize. But now we're live on Facebook. Hey everybody, this is Adam Greenberg with Coldwell Banker Distinctive Properties in Bozeman, Montana. And thank you for joining me on my virtual open house at 1004 Floyd Way. Let's take a look around the house, shall we? Beautiful open floor plan. It's got LVT flooring, granite countertop, soft closed doors and drawers, tiled backsplash there in the kitchen. As you can see, nice open space, lots of windows, lots of light, totally beautiful. Yada, 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 right guys? So you can go through manually on the Matterports, stop, take your time, talk about anything that you want. All right, and then let's say you have more information that you want to relay that's not with the Matterport. Then I'm going to take you over to my web page. The only thing I don't like about this is that you can't move the button. At least I don't think so. Well, you can. All right. So that makes it easier for hitting your things up here. So now we're on my website, right, guys? Pretty awesome. Why I like going to my website is you can use your phone number and your email contacts, and you can, as you're talking about them, you can point them out so people actually see them and they're not just hearing it from you, right? So I'm at 406-580-6020 or adam@mtrec.org. That's adam@mtrec.org. Shows them. If you want to go to my website, please go to agreenberg.cbdistinctive.com. That's all they need to know. And then hopefully they'll come in and also sign up on your web page. There's obviously a lot more to it than that, but I'm just trying to keep time short here. So now we're on my web page, and as you can see, we're going through. Now, the one thing we didn't talk about yet is how do you monitor by yourself questions that people have live on your Facebook page if they're watching? And the answer to that is you need to have another window open, separated perhaps if you have two screens, or if you have used your phone or an iPad and monitor the actual Facebook page that you're going live to, and then you can see what people are saying and saying hi and asking questions. That's usually what I do. I use my iPad usually. So that's one way to do a virtual open house. And I am going to go ahead and pass this over to Cole, who's going to show. All right, so I stopped my video. Hopefully that was informative. I know it was quick. If you have questions, just feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to go through some of this. There's a lot more to it than that, obviously, but you can see the ability to be sitting at home and doing all of these things through the already existing websites. So now we're going to go and switch over to Cole, and Cole's going to show you how to do the virtual walkthrough where you're actually there in person and talking to the people. So Cole, have at it, my man.
Thank you, guys. Welcome to everybody, of course. Thanks for joining us. So this is kind of the first rendition of the virtual open house that we did. Kind of, you know, doesn't allow the registration, but if you just want to get out there and do it, this is the way to do it without having to mess with the Zooms or any of the other exterior platforms. So let me share my screen real quick, and I'll show you the basics of. All right, so everybody can see my screen. Let me just, all right, so this one here, this is basically a video of my phone going live to Facebook. So I work with Robert Yazbek here in Steamboat. So we went live from our Teams page, and super basic. Let me just start this video, kind of walk you through. So you log into your Teams Facebook page or your personal business Facebook page. Scroll down to create a post, as you can see right here, and then go live. You just hit the live button right there, and then add a description. So add your description here, and that'll be what pops up above your live feed. Then super simple. I can't type or spell either, so there you go. Then start live video. So I didn't actually go live here, but I have a video of one I did. This was the first one we did, got tons of engagement. And the way we went about doing it is I was sitting in the house, went and showed up to the house, picked up one of these on Amazon. It's a selfie stick / tripod. So I was able to mount my phone in there and put it in front of me and kind of talk to the camera and then pick it up, switch views. And I like doing it this way initially before we decided to go with all the other platforms and doing the Matterport, because we were still actually able to go to homes. And so what I did was, here, I'll just start the video and I'll kind of explain. Well, let me turn that down. So what I did, I started the video with the screen camera facing me so that I could watch the feed happen as we went through. Let me see, where did my video go? Give me one sec, guys. Sorry, technical difficulties, of course. But what I did, forward-facing camera, so outward-facing, walking through the house just like normal, like you'd be videoing the house. And then that way, when you're live on Facebook, you can actually monitor the feed yourself if you don't have someone to help you out answering questions and whatnot. I did, though, have Robert with me watching and monitoring questions just in case I wasn't able to get to all of them. He was in there typing answers, you know, putting in Matterport and whatnot. And you can see over here, this was the first one we ever did. We reached 1,300 people, got tons of engagement. One share, but what we did after this, once the video will play, hopefully it'll load. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen because it's not working. So anyway, what we did from there is at the end of the video, you know, I was in the house for about an hour and just walk through normal. But what you do is if you do a quick walkthrough and introduce yourself and all that, and then come back to square one, if you can get that in under 15 minutes, you can cut that piece out and then share that to your other platforms like IGTV and whatnot. And then, of course, you can just keep going through the house because multiple people will be coming on, and you know, you can change your engagement and whatnot. And you basically do it, you know, 2 or 3 times, 3 or 4 times, depending on the size of the house. And you're able to say hi to people. If you're doing it the way I was doing it, I just found it to be super simple. And, you know, we've learned that done is better than perfect. So if you just want to do it and not mess with any of the registering and just kind of get your feet wet in doing it, super simple. Go to a property that you're able to go to, preferably right now vacant, and, you know, go live on your phone, walk through, and just start being engaging. We did do an event and we did, you know, promote it and whatnot. But when we got to the house, all I had to do was click go live from our team page and we were off and running. So super simple, quick and easy. Yeah, I hope that helps. You know, just get your feet wet, jump in and get it done.
Cole, one of the questions is, so in the end, you're also going to be able to save it and repurpose it, right? You're going to save your actual Facebook post.
Right.
Talk to us a little bit about that.
So at the end of your video, at the bottom of the screen, before you hit, you know, leave your live, there's 2 buttons that say save or share. Initially, you want to hit share, and then you can share it to your personal page or whatever other page you want. But then you can go into that and you can download the video to your desktop, mess with it if you want, crop it down to under 15 minutes. So if that first initial walkthrough where you introduce yourself and everything is under 15 minutes, you can cut that piece out, and then that can be your first walkthrough of the place, and you can use that 15 minutes. If you're not verified on Instagram TV, you can post it there if it's under 15 minutes. If you're verified, which means, you know, they've gone through the process of vetting who you are and whatnot, you can post however long you want. But you can take that video and then repurpose it everywhere. You can share it multiple times to different, you know, platforms like IGTV. You can put it on YouTube, share it to LinkedIn, any of those platforms. If you then download that video to your computer, wherever, however you like to save your video. So that's the reason you want to make that first initial walkthrough kind of at your max would be like 14:58 from when you say, hello, my name's Cole at Team Yazbek at Coldwell Banker and Steamboat, all the way through to back to square one. Get that in 15 minutes so you can cut that piece out and repurpose that initially just to IGTV, and then the rest of the video, the whole thing, you can repurpose pretty much anywhere.
So we talked about 2 different things also as a team. One of the things was that it's really important, and Adam, you may be able to answer this as well, but that you don't just share all the time, but that you actually save and repurpose because the engagement is larger. Can you guys talk to that a little bit more?
Sure. So as Cole just said, you will automatically, as soon as you end your live feed on Facebook, if you're just going that route, it will just post back to that page once Facebook has processed it. From Zoom, you can download it to your computer as a separate video, and then you can repurpose it any way you want and reload it back up on all the platforms. Now with the webinar feature, which I didn't really get into today, and Julie had asked, do I need to pay the $40 for the registration for meetings? And the answer is yes. You can only use registration if you pay the $40 for the webinars. But the webinars, and I also put on there, I can do another one of these just on webinars, but that allows you also to set up what we call the on-demand one, and you can just post a link there and it's running all the time, and basically it just gives people access to that video anytime they want to watch it. And it's another great tool for lead generation. Absolutely. I've just started using it in the last week, and it's killer. So I highly suggest that you guys spend that $40 a month and use it. It's much better than a lot of the other lead generating money that you're spending.
Well, and I would say that as a team in the last 4 weeks, we found that the more we get engaged, the more we experiment, the more we explore this venue, the bigger the results are. So I think that's really something to remember, is that this is just like going out and saying, doing an open house, it takes time, it takes focus, it takes a purpose, but it's definitely worth coming back to and engaging with it and understanding how to do it and getting better at it with it. Videos are not hard to do. They require you to walk slowly, take your time, be articulate. Sometimes doing a run through beforehand is a great way to get more comfortable. We had an agent in our office try that and made improvements, shortened things down, came up with some special features that were super important. And the world, as we know it today, is all about engaging virtually. Just like one of the other little small things that we didn't talk about is when you finally do get to engage with your clients on the other end and you have an email and you have some new people that you as leads, turn around and just do a little video of yourself and send them the video and say, thanks for showing up. I'm really glad you were there. The engagement is tenfold more powerful with video than it is by just sending them a boring old email. So make yourself real, make yourself accessible, and those are the ways that you're going to be able to engage with more clients for the future for your business to grow.
Yeah, on that note also, anyone who watches on Facebook or whatever that you're not actually friends with, as soon as you're done, click through those and add them, send them a friend request, because then they'll start seeing more of your content and you just build your following as well. And Julie, you asked, or you commented, yes, to clarify, Facebook does not offer a registration. In your event, you can, change ways that people get to your event and whatnot. But I've just found out doing it, it's more complicated than you need to. So if you just create the event and push that out as much as possible, and then just go live from your team page, that's, if you're just doing the basic, go to the property and do it, that's the easiest way to do it. So.
One of the other cool things I learned about Zoom is also remember when I went to that page and you can assign where you're going to be doing your live event on Facebook. So you can do it to any page that you are the owner of. So whether that's your personal page, your business page, if you created a group, like I've created a first-time homebuyer group, you can post live to that simultaneously. So it's pretty awesome. The more groups you have, the more you can get your word out there live. And then of course you're pushing it out again afterwards also. And also don't forget, anytime, and we all know this, it's basic Facebook or social media rules, that anytime someone comments, comment back. I mean, you're going to go through your list anyway to see who was on it, so you might as well post back as well and tell them thank you and answer their questions.
All right, anybody have any questions or anything for the panelists? We're here to help. Don't be shy, try it out, get confused, feel uncomfortable with it. I would tell you that that's probably our biggest challenge, is we're just not comfortable with it. And it takes some funky practice. But maybe you can find a team member out there in your office that wants to practice with you. And it definitely has a powerful ability to connect and to engage with your clients.
So Julie has a question. She wants me to show them again how you allow sound from your computer from a pre-recorded video. Okay. So real quick, I'm just going to share my video here. I'll share my screen. Right here, you see it? Or no, you can't see it because I'm not sharing.
Yeah.
I wonder if I will be able to show. So when you hit the share button, I don't think I can share it because it's not in share mode yet. I have to take a picture of it. But once you hit that share mode button, Julie, at the very bottom of the window, it'll say share your computer sound. Just click on that box. And I recommend, if you have a private group, like if say you have a team and you just have a group for a group on Facebook for your own page, that's where I practice shooting my live feed too, so that I can sit there and see the delay, which by the way, with Zoom, you're talking about a 20-second delay from what you are saying live to what's going on Facebook. So make sure to tell your people watching and your participants that, give you a couple seconds to answer questions. It won't be instantaneous.
All right. I think that's what we have for you guys. Thanks so much for joining us and having us on this call today so we could help educate you a little bit more on how to do this. And call if you have any questions.